Hello everybody, welcome back to Bull Bear Trader. So today I'm gonna go over about 12 stocks that we have earning for tomorrow. And I will start with Pfizer. So Pfizer, let's draw some line. But before we do, here is the line I would say is was the support now become I would say midterm resistant. Now I'm gonna chart the short term. So the trend, okay, this I'm gonna make it blue. Okay, so the for Pfizer short term oversold, long term is a little oversold to neutral. But if you look back for about 3 years, it has been really low, the lowest for a while. All right, so now it's been bouncing between these orange line, and the trend line now is almost like a wedge. So right now, oversold condition, short term and long term is a little bit overbought, but not much. So the chance of a pullback, I give it about 45% to $22. 55% for a bounce, and it will test this orange line at about 24.65. And I just put 24.5 to make it even. Okay. So right now you need to get back into the channel and then test 26.67 if it want to go any further. Cat. It's bounced back pretty good, about 60% higher. Look like it has a bull flag like this. Short term is overbought, and long term is also overbought. So more chance of a pullback. So if it does pull back, but first let's say for this bull flag, I would with good earning and guidance, I would say 450 at about, I would say 40% to 45%, 55 to 60%. I see a pullback to about probably 410. Why? Because of the previous high. All right, so more of a downside than upside. BP, I haven't seen this one for a while. I think it was probably about a couple months ago. So short term is a little bit oversold, long term is overbought. So Well, let's see. For short term, it's right about the support, so it bounced a little bit. So 33.50 will be the limit, and I give it about 40% only. For pullback because of overbought, I would say it might go as low as about $30. About 60%. Okay, so look like it's still bouncing within the channel. Duke, short term overbought, long term also a little bit overbought. So look like it's trying to challenge the previous high. So more chance of a pullback, and if it does, if the number are pretty good, decent, but the outlook is just okay, neutral, I see it pulling back at about 117. At about, I would say, 55 to 60%. The more, probably a pullback. High, I would say about 130. Look like it's making new time high. And if I start it, yeah, about 130, 129, 1. So that sounds about right. Let's see, 129. So for shorter term, that look like this. Yeah, so look like it's been bouncing between the support and resistance and recently broke out. So I expect it to test, come back test as 122. It's most likely gonna go down to 119. So I'm gonna fix this because this is more likely than 117. So 60% of pullback, 40% of a rally. Lemonade, short term over so long term is neutral. All right, so trend line. Okay. Something like this. So more chance of a bounce, I would say about 60% bounce to 43 and 4% of pullback to 32. Okay, if this is too fast for you, I recommend you to click on the link that I will include the a description for you to follow and show you how to find the support, resistance channel, and how I predict the level of pullback or rally. Marriott, Short term is oversold. Long term is a little bit overbought. If I look at it, okay. So if you kind of flip it up, it's been bouncing here, right? And then go up here, which mean there might be a bounce. So I would say for a bounce, it might go to 68 at about 50%. And for a pullback 50%, I'm seeing probably around 241. Why 50%? Because we got like pretty major support right here, so more chance of a bounce. But because of the long-term overbought, and if the number not that good, we might have a pullback. So basically the short term and the long term, they gotta fight each other. So right now is about 50-50 for Marriott. AMD, so when it was around here, I say you're gonna pull back to 146. It pulled back to 149 and then bounce to 182. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so basically it's been bouncing between okay, and so it'll be bouncing between the orange channel, broke out, came back to test it and bounce a little bit. If we is actually short-term overbought and long-term overbought, so more chance of a retest. And if it does, most likely we're gonna see 156. At about 60%, 40%. With really good number, we might see it go up all the way to probably 200. Just like Meta and Nvidia and Microsoft. Okay. So 40% of a bounce, 60% of a pullback. Super micro is been going up pretty good. So let's see. Okay, so that is support. And this is the high. So that's the resistance. So you can see it been bouncing between these lines, broke above, okay, and then come up, and back, test it again, break down, back into the channel, and then they make a doji here after a little bit tagging the resistance. So it's overbought, short term, overbought, long term. So a pullback is actually more. And if it does, it will come down to 49.75. So make it 50. at about 60%, 40%. If number coming really good, we might see probably 70. At about 40%. Yeah, 70 seems to be right. Okay, look like it's all right. Arista Networks overbought short and long term. You can see over here it did a W and then rally more. So far looked like it today is stopped right at the resistance here from the previous high. So I expect more of a pullback to probably right here at 105. All right, at about 60 to 65%. For 35 to 40%, we will see 133. And that is the previous high right here. All right, next is open door. So I think when it was around here, yes, around here, I say look like we hit that, came back, and then hit a high at 4, came back down to 267. Then I say, okay, look like we might have a pullback to 250, but it did went a little bit more than 250. It went down to around $2 bounce, and right now it stopped at about 250. So what's next? Short term is oversold. Long term is a little bit neutral. So more likely we have a bounce again at about $3 at about 60%. All right, but if the number not good for $3 bounce, it will just need decent number and decent outlook. But number coming really bad, we might see it coming back to $1.80. And this might hit a day or a week. But I see only 40% of pullback and 60% of a rally. So good luck. Snap. Short term oversold, long term overbought. And I see every time, well, a lot of time, it earning, it gap down. But once a while, it will gap up. So here, basically, it barely recovered the last high after April rally. But the good thing is it did actually trend up. However, for the immediate trend is still a little bit down. So, as I say, we have more chance of a bounce to $10.38 to 1040 at about 60%, 40%. We have a pullback to about $8.31. Okay, at only 40%. RIVN, a lot of people actually watch RIVN. The only thing is that lately it's been trending down short term oversold, long term is also oversold. So we might have a bounce here. If it does, we'll see it around 13.75 at about 55 to 60%. But the number is really bad and negative outlook. We might see it coming back to 11.50. So we're gonna dip again. And if it does come down all the way here, it will be a good opportunity to come in for a bounce here. So 40%, 35 to 40% pullback, 60 to 65% rally. All right, thanks for watching. Please hit a like, share, and come back for the next video.